Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to say welcome again to another edition of the program, Talking Point. And on this edition of not Talking Point, sorry, I have a program called Talking Point, that's why. But this is the bottom line. The bottom line is a program that discusses issues about Liberia and Liberians. And we are frantically sorry that we couldn't come on last Tuesday. We come on every Tuesday and Friday, but due to some technical issues, we didn't come on, on Tuesday, and now we are here on this Friday, and this will be the final edition of this for this week. And Tuesday again will be your way. With me is Paul Chopley from the UK. Paul, hi and welcome. And how is the weather? You know, we Europeans, the biggest thing we usually talk about is the weather, right?
Yeah. Good evening, Linford. Good to be back, and it's been a while now. Although we missed the last show because of technical issue, and I would say thanks to our listening audience have joined. The weather in the UK is okay. We've been having rain and then off and on. Apart from that, everything is okay. How's Norway? How's the weather over there, Linford?
Well,
How's
in
Norway?
Norway, it's really difficult to describe it. And if I go back 20 years, it was quite different from what it is now. 20 years ago at this time in March, we still had snow, fresh snow coming, but it's not the case nowadays for the past 5, 6, 7, 8, up to 10 years. I don't know, because of global warming, the reduction in the quantity of snow is immense. But we still have snow around here, especially coming towards the lowland, far away from the mountain. Snow, I think if you go around the Oslo area, we don't have much snow on the ground anymore. But where I live, close to the mountain, we have a lot. In fact, it's just 30 minutes from here in the high mountain. We have a lot of snow, and I was up there yesterday, and there was
Right.
snow coming. And so it's difficult. And it will come today, tomorrow it's not coming, and the sun is shining, and we say, oh, yes, maybe it's getting better. And all of a sudden, it comes again. But
Right.
for instance, today it was the lowest was, or the coldest was -5, and then we have a lot of sunshine today, so it's improving, and at least we can see light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak.
Yeah. So that means we're getting the spring weather back slowly, and
Oh, sure, surely
hopefully,
we
and
coming
everybody will
back.
be out. Yeah,
But
sunbathing and all that. So
what I'm still listening out for, that little, I don't know where those little birds come from. Early spring, they come chicka chicka. They are the ones that introduce the spring.
yeah.
And they're usually up very early in the morning. Chugga, chugga, chugga. But like you said, we are looking up to the days when we can wake up. In fact, I think the 13th or the 23rd, one of those dates, I can't get it straight. We're gonna go back again to the normal. We're gonna leave the daylight saving and go back to the normal time. And so this program will be starting at that time. This program will
Right,
be starting
right.
1 hour later than it is now. And I guess the same thing will be in the UK, but then we'll see, I think it'll be 2 hours ahead of Liberian time. So, but we'll give you the correct information when the time comes, when we change the time again. And so this is how it is here. But tonight we have a lot on our plate, Paul, and I can promise you that. So let's share the video. For those of you joining us, please share the video to your friends, and we're gonna have a lot. We're gonna play you some clips from events, from things that have been happening in Liberia of late, how the country is just getting bad up, and the need to change the administration, the need to change how things are becoming is it cannot be overemphasized. So, like I said, we have a lot on our plate tonight. So, if you just joining us, stay with us, and we will be back right after this little break. Welcome back, Paul.
Yes, my brother.
what have you been hearing of late? Since we've been away from the show, because it's like it's been 1 week now since we've been away from the show. The last edition was last Friday, and Tuesday we did not come on, and then we are on today, so it's exactly 1 week ago. What have you heard? Has there been any news? Anything new in the news?
There are a lot of things been happening in Liberia. Every day there's news in Liberia, and always bad news. The bad
Hmm,
news more than the good news in Liberia.
hmm.
There was sometime last week, some 3-year-old child was raped, which is not good.
Wow.
Yeah, and I learned our ECOWAS had a meeting in Liberia. There was power outage while having a meeting. So every day there's bad news in Liberia, there's nothing good. Then the ongoing Boko case with Mr. Cummings, which seems that there's no head, no tail to it, equally so on the ground. So I don't know. Nothing good come from Liberia. So after one good news, you get 10,000 bad news. That's Liberia. And electricity crisis now is becoming a serious problem in the town. Yeah.
And there was this newspaper today. I think what you call that paper, and it says that I just forgot the name of the paper because I was not interested though. But it says that Mr. Cummings has finally admitted altering the document. Did you read that paper?
What? No. It's just the false narrative that Serena Seaford went with on one of the last court hearing. I think it was on on Wednesday
Hmm.
when he made out said that he have evidence that Yomni Kanga Lawrence have a letter that Mr. Cummings did uh, agree that he tampered with the document. So it's just his allegation, but there's nothing there. So,
But
and most of the newspaper, remember too, in Liberia, most of the media outlets have been bought by the government. So there's a serious propaganda now against Mr. Cummings with the government collaborator like Omen Boyka, Benena Ure. Even the Spoon TV that have the bigger platform is government collaborator now. So just look at it. Anything they come up with all kind of stories. See, so yeah, that's Liberia.
okay, just before we go into the videos and things that we have tonight to play, I will give my personal injection. I will give uh, should I say interjection into this whole thing. Uh, and I will be talking to a group that I heard of lately when Mr. Cummings visited uh, Cornwall. And the name of this group actually caught my attention. They call themselves First Time Voter. The first time voters, meaning that they
Yeah.
have never voted before. This is going to be their first time. And this is a very, from my own perspective, this is a very important group of people that we need to deal with, Paul. These are people who have never voted. These are people who were maybe probably 14, 15, 16 during the last elections, and now they are 18. They have entered the right age to vote. And they are very, and nobody knows the quantity of the quantity, the exact number of people who just turned 18. So they may just form one third of the voting age or voting population in Liberia. And they are a very important group. And I just want to talk to them a little bit. Probably Paul, you will check in. But for you turning 18 this year or last year or the year before or since the last election you turned 18, probably right after 2017 you turned 18, so this is going to be your first time voting. Remember that you are very important, that your votes are very, very important. Your vote will determine what will happen to you in the next 6, 12, 18, 24, 30 years to come. Your votes are very important, and I will inform you. I will let you know something. You could just be Some of you could just be my little brother, okay, or the children of my little siblings back home, okay, because they've been having children, since I left. So this could affect you. The decision you will make this year or next year, 2023, come election, if you register to vote, the decision you will make, remember that that decision will shape your destiny. Remember that that decision will determine where you go, what happens to you, what happens to your future. Some of us talking here now, we got future, but our future, we're in the middle of our future. The back, the one, the age that we have passed is behind us. The one ahead of us, we do know. At least we know the ones that we have covered, but the one ahead of us, we do know. So to speak, we are in the middle of our future. So if there is any future that we are fighting for, it is you, first-time voters, who are in your young age, who need to live hereafter. So the decisions that you'll be making at the ballot box, listen to who you vote for. Do not just go with the flow that, oh, John Brown is popular, so I'll vote for the popular man. Yes, the question is, after you have voted for the popular man, what happens to you afterwards? You put the man in power, the man goes, he and the family enjoy, and you settle down. Remember that you are 18 now. Let's just assume that you are 18 now. Then 2023, you'll be 19. You vote for Paul Harris, and Paul Harris has 6 years to go. So at 6 years to your 18 years, you'll be 24. Okay? But still, no change in your life. But Paul Harris' son, who was 10 years after, will be 16, and he's in college. But you, John Paul, who voted for Paul Harris, you're 24, nothing has changed in your life. You are still, in fact, you are even getting worse because let's assume that you have a girlfriend at that time. Okay? Your girlfriend gets pregnant. The baby comes. You don't even get anything to put on the baby. Things are getting worse. But the Paul Harris that he voted for, his son who was 16 or who was 10 years have become 16, he's in college, you 24, nothing in your life. Then you wait again. Then Paul Harris will come to you after the next 6 years and say, vote for me again. Do not forget that this thing happened to people 6 years ago. So I'm only reminding you, for you first-time voters, we want you to think, look at what we call the manifesto of the parties or the politicians that are coming to you, what they have on their plate. What can they offer you? What are they telling you? Are they telling you that I'm popular? Let me put it in the Liberian way, as we say every day, that popularity you will eat. After you vote for the man goes, and here your family enjoy, then you sit there and say, yeah, I voted for the popular man. What would be your profit? Share the video. For those of you watching, please share the video. And you can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on YouTube. So share the video. We are going live both on Facebook and on YouTube so that we'll have a good conversation here. I'm telling you now that your future matters, and do not go to the polls to go vote for somebody who is popular, somebody you know will not do anything for you but because he's popular. That popularity you eat, or that somebody who be in government for all the years, and ask yourself, do you have chance? Ask yourself. That person have been in government for all those years, and he can't retire. He still want to come back. He don't want to give you the young people chance. Okay, this could be your chance, but the person is blocking you. So ask yourself, what the person see behind the government job that he wants so much. So Paul, I don't know if you have any message for this group that we are calling, or they're calling themselves the first-time voters.
Well, the thing is, they have to be smart and be logical in their thinking. And I can give example. There's a guy called Thomas Fowler, the former plank seller.
Mm-hmm.
Going into government today, the guy is a millionaire. He built a university for himself. He ride on the back of the poor people. He's a rich man today. Even if he does not have government job, he and his family and his generation to come, his great children, they all going to benefit from the university he built. So people should be wise when people approach them. They should tell them what is their benefit. Somebody can just come to you, give you $10 or back or rest, say, vote for me. At the end of the day, then you vote for them, they shut you down. But hold those people feet to a fire, yet and tell you what they're going to run on, how it will benefit you. If they can't tell you how it will benefit you, move to the next person and listen to the next person until you find the right person to vote for. That's what they need to do. They should accept money from them, eat the money, and have an informed decision to make who going to tell you that tomorrow when they vote for you, there'll be free hospital for you. That means when you have malaria, typhoid, you go to hospital, it should be free. Instead of people flying to Ghana, JFK, Redemption Hospital, all the hospitals should be looked after, and they so you can be treated free. Single pills. People don't have, they go to church to pray. And those representatives like Thomas Fowler, Ryan on there, in their own constituent, people are dying from malaria and typhoid. But they were the people that voted for them. So they knew first time voters should learn from the generation above them. How come their life have not changed? So they need to be wise in their thinking and their decision making. Yeah.
Okay, but another more message to the first time voters, and not only the first time voters at this time that this message is coming to. It's coming also to you, those of you who have voted, because the first time voters who make mistake, and tomorrow they say, oh, but we didn't know it was our first time. But those of you who have been voting over and over and over again, making the same mistake, electing people who you know will not care for you, electing people who you know will not even look at you after election, this message is coming to you. My friend, we are 5 million people in Liberia, even though there has been no new census to know the exact number right now, but we based on the old number. We are more than 5 million people in Liberia. Can every one of us go and sit down in the executive mansion the church we are today? The answer is what? Big no. Can all of us be representatives for our district? The answer is what? No. Can all of us be senators? The answer is what? No. Even though some people qualify, only qualify to be, but no matter how qualified all of us may be, we cannot all be president. We cannot all be representatives. We cannot all be ministers. We cannot all be senators. So what happens? And this is how government is formed. We that make up the citizens, according to our own constitution, it says we want own the government. Because if we do vote, there will be no president. If you think a lot, if you think, look, you voters, I'll give you one example. The elephant. The elephant is very, very heavy, but it doesn't know its own weight because it's carrying its own weight. But let the elephant step on you. Okay? That's the time you know that it's heavy. You voters. Yeah, seriously, Paul, the elephant is heavy, but you not see the elephant suffering under the weight. It will go normally because that's a weight. So you voters, you are very heavy. And somebody will ask me, how are we heavy? You, including me and you, we the voters, we are very heavy. And you know what makes us heavy? Our vote, that one single vote you get is very, very heavy. Let's say me and Paul going for election. Okay, we get 100 people in the house. We go for election. We get 101 people in the house. We go in for election. Then Paul get 50, I get 50. That one person still remaining. That one person vote is heavy. If that one person vote for force on Paul's side, I lose the election. You see it? So your vote is, you have one vote, your little single vote, that small paper they gave you, where they say that your ballot paper, that paper, yeah, it have the more than George Weah. No, that paper can make George Weah crawl on his stomach. If George Weah need that one paper just to win, it will make him crawl on his stomach. You tell him, say, can't give me $1 million, say, at that moment, it's just that, you know, when we're voting, the president then, the candidate can't be all in the booth. You know what they'll do? They will enter that package, hey, my brother, oh, yo, but please vote for me. Because that vote you get is very, very heavy. But we don't know. So you allow one man to bring $5 to you or $5 to you and tell you, give me your vote. You just take it, you go vote for the man. Amen. Amen. I mean, this one not for our first time voters because they never made that mistake. But those of you who have been voting from Charlie King time until now, you're making the same mistake. You don't know that your vote is very important. When the Canadian country, let me start with my own political leader. They tell Alexander coming country, you say, can't go vote for me. When you're talking to you, when you're in that kind of your community, you're stand up. You're asking, Mr. Cummings, what do you think you'll do for us? What makes you think among all the other people, why you think we should choose you? And he will convince you. Let him tell you, look, I can do this. I'll build hospitals. I'll do, and let it be. He shouldn't just say anymore. Ask him, what if you don't do it? Okay? And so should you do to all the other candidates that come in. Don't let them come, then you just jump in and start singing. Somebody can say, oh, I've been in government from Charlie Kington, that we the one build, they want here, that we the one were here, long time, so one minute just come in, it can't be. Tell them, say no, you've been here all the time, and this is why our life being like this, bad like this. Just because you've been here all the time, that's why our life being bad like this. We want new thing. We want somebody new who get fresh idea, new idea. That is seeing Charlie Kington idea you bring in here. Okay? Tell them. Because what? They
No,
need your
but
vote.
Linford, let's
Yeah.
look at it on the other side. I mean, let me play the devil advocate here.
Yeah.
We have a lot of people in the diaspora that live in this big country, like people in Norway, where you are. They vote people in Norway in government based on the benefit that the president proclaiming that they will do this when they get in office.
Right.
We get people among us, Liberians, that do the same here in the UK. But now they're encouraging their brothers and sisters, first-time voter, to vote for the bad people. What kind of message you can give them to those sort of people? Yeah.
Well, people who live in the diaspora, America, Europe, Asia, Australia, Canada, and all these places, they know very well how elections are done in those countries. They know exactly on what basis people are elected. People are not elected because they've been in government for years. People are not elected because they belong to one political party that is popular. No. People are elected based on their deliverability, what they can deliver, what they think they can deliver, okay, or what they have promised the people to deliver. And if you don't do it, my friend, you are out. They'll kick you out, okay? But not the same group of people who lied to you 6 years ago, they come and lie to you again, then you take them, okay? I mean, for example, let me go to our grand old Unity Party people. Because they don't want to feel a sense of belongingness that this government job belongs to only them. Okay? Those are the people who ask yourself, what did the Unity Party government do for 12 years, 12 consecutive years? I mean, a child who was born during the first term of the Unity Party was 12 years in 2017. Can you imagine? A child who was just born when Ellen Johnson took over, when the Unity Party came to power, begin 12 years in 2017. And then add 6 years again to that child age now. The child will be 18 years. That big man can vote. Okay? So can you imagine that 12 years time, the Unity Party did extremely, they did extremely bad. They did some things, but
the thing is, people will argue that they although they jump started the society after it was broken, and then they will come with the argument that they build rules from Monrovia to Nima.
Oh, I can sit down right in front of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and tell her that argument will not hold. Let me tell you.
Well, but this is not economy now. This is where Unity Party is running with that.
But I will tell you one thing: the economy was shattered during the wartime. And right after the war, every Liberian, my friend, even if you are giving call license to Liberians, say you're brushing road, say no more war again, so we can be working, they'll do it. Everybody was willing. The international community was willing to help the country. They pump money. Ellen Johnson came here in October 2007. I mobilized Liberians here. More than 30 of us, we want to meet her at her hotel in Oslo. Okay? We stood up in her cold. She had this funny guy, one Reverend who said he was the chief of protocol. He would delay or deny us of seeing a woman. When Norwegian was just coming, passing by, or walking up and go meet a woman and come back. Until there was this Norwegian lady who has been passing us for 2-3 times, in a row. And then she came back. Then she asked us, and she noticed that I probably want to see the woman. She said, but I've been seeing you people. What are you people waiting for? And prior to that, I've been on the phone in a reception talking to this, I think the newer guy. I've been talking to him, and he said, oh, you're not the president coming. I came here 3 days ago. You didn't come to me. The president here now before you come. Can you imagine that nonsense? So he myself arguing on the phone until when this Norwegian lady asked her, we can see our president, but we can't see her. The woman went up. She told the president, I said, that woman, Ellen Johnson, walked down to the lobby of the hotel. The king. I walked straight to her. I said, Madam President, we have been here. That time, the new guy came down now with her. He was in the hotel room arguing with me, now came down to talk to us. He came down. Oh, yeah. But this one, I'll give Ellen Johnson the credit for this one. He came down. And then she said, oh, but I heard you. I said, yeah, Madam President, we've been here for almost 3 hours now waiting. And I've been on the phone with one gentleman who says he's your chief of protocol. And he's been arguing with us why we didn't come to a meeting, but you hear the motor right out and say, Nuva, what did he say? Is that what you told the people? The people cannot see me and he's standing. I said, she belittled him right there. So you were not even part of the meeting I will have with the president. She belittled him right there. Okay? The president will ask for complete, almost 45 minutes. I mean, talk about late in the night, because we've been there like 3 hours. Then late in the night, almost around 10 o'clock. And she had been having meeting the whole day. So she was tired. And after she talked to individuals, we took pictures of her. I showed her, I read a statement to her. I talked to her personally. Everybody that she knew some people among us personally, they talked. And then at the end of the day, she left. And when this woman left, the Norwegian press carried it that Liberians honor their president when she came here. If you see the people recommending Ellen Johnson Sirleaf for the Nobel Peace Prize, this is some of the things that happened because the pride that we gave her. What if the time she came, what if I had led those over some more people to go and we go demonstrate against her? You think she would get it? She would have the face in the Norwegian people hands to get anything like that to be recommended for a Nobel Peace Prize? No, but we respected her. So the entire world was willing to help Liberia under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. It would have even been a poor play who was president. The people are going to say going to help. So the United Party should not take glory of. But okay, if they say the bill rule, let's look at some of the bad things they did. And I want to have one. That's why I said one day.
Well, before. I mean, let's be honest with them. I mean, that gave them the benefit of that. In the first 6 years, they work. They work in the first 6 years.
Yeah, they work because let me tell you why they work now. You're back then. You're back then. But let me tell you why they work. Probably you'll add that to your argument. They work because the money that we're receiving, the international community, our on them, they told us, so you got to do this. It was a mandate. You do this. You do this, and they both send their expatriates to come, right, to monitor. So they didn't work. United Party didn't work because they really wanted to work. But because they had to do it.
I disagree with you over there. They work. I mean,
okay.
When she took over, she sat and thought on how would I get this country going again, because it was a broken car. Imagine the car being parked for 14 years. So all the engine in the car will have rust in it. So the starting that car, you have to have oil change, everything, plugs, you name it. That's what they did to jumpstart the country. So she brought expertise from all over Liberia in the diaspora to work with her. So they put their effort in the first 6 years. So they worked. It was the second half now. That's when they decided to say, you know what? We did our work. It's time to Steve. And that's what they did in the second half. So, yes, the first half they work. Unlikely like this group now, the first half they decided to do the opposite of Ellen.
Okay. Yeah, I will kind of agree with you because, like I've always said, if Liberia was to take part in a political marathon, in a political Olympic, I think Ellen would be some of the best that we have to offer in the absence of people like Dr. Sawyer and team. Ellen would be the best that we have to offer.
Okay, so let's move on to the other issue regarding all of the rape cases, all the bad things that have been happening, no electricity in the town, Mr. Cummings case that have no head, no tail. Let's dive into some of those issues and discuss.
Okay, Mr. Cummings case. What do you make of it? You know, because we got to look at the people who are involved with this case. The Benonayure, the Serena Sifas, are those people credible enough to even be standing before a judge any judge with sound mind, you think those people will be credible enough to stand there without even be charged with contempt of court based on a past record? So, what do you think?
Well, the thing is, Benina Ure, to start with, who took Mr. Cummings to court, and the government, including my own daddy, Joseph Newman Boyka, they all in bed with the government. That is, let's stop Cummings from running and make sure we are giving him a second term. That's what the case is all about. How on earth you take me to court and you don't have evidence against me, and you ask me to produce evidence against myself? I mean, I didn't do law, but even you tell an elementary student, they will ask you that question, say, you say I stole from you. Then I'm going to produce what I stole from you. Just common sense.
You know, Paul, you remind me of something that happened to myself. I think this is the third weekend. It happened to me. I think it was on a Saturday or Sunday. I have gone to do something somewhere in the mountain, and I was it's like actually 40 minutes away from here, and I was coming back. When I left the mountain, we were three cars, right? One car ahead of me in the middle, and one
Yeah.
car behind me. So we drove. It was snowing heavily. It was in the middle of the day, right? Around 2, 3 o'clock. So it was snowing, and I was coming. And this guy ahead of me was driving a little bit slower, and then we're like in 70 zone. And the guy from behind me, he passed me. So he was between the guy ahead of me and me now. And then later on, he passed the guy. So it was our at the tail now. And we drove, we came to another 70 area. So this guy who was still driving slow, I myself passing. And then I was behind the guy who passed all of us. And we came somewhere, then he slowed down. I know what happened, or you're telling me. So myself passing. So I held of the queue now. But the
Oh,
three of us entered the city together. Apparently, this guy had called the police and tell him that I'm driving fast. He gave
oh,
the guy the description of my car, right? So we entered the city together. I had a friend sitting with me from the mountain. I was supposed to drop him in the city. So I carried him to the bus stop. And to the bus stop is where they got the police station, everything. So I dropped the guy at the bus stop. I turned around just to come to my house. I saw this new brand, electric car, tinted glass, following, but I didn't take notice. So I left the road. I came to my parking area right in front of my apartment. I can't park. Then the guy came, parks out of me. Then he opened the door. Then I saw the two police cars. He came to me. I brought my glass down. Right in front of my apartment, I brought my glass down. Um, Hello, do you have license? I said, yeah, I think I have. I presented my license. I'm coming to the issue of Mr. Coming to produce evidence against himself.
yeah.
Then he asked me, we just got somebody told us that you've been driving fast coming from the mountain here. I said, me driving fast? He said, yeah. I said, but who the person that told you? He said, no, we can't tell you who the person. I said, oh, but you policeman, right? He said, yeah. I said, okay. I said, but in the first place, let me know that you policeman, because we got a history of somebody in the country who went and dressed like police. He killed 71 and 77 people on the island.
Yeah.
So I cannot be sure of you being police, two guys dressed in police uniform in a private dash tinted car. He said, no, that thing you're talking is too extreme. I said, no, but I mean, we're talking about safety. So I asked him, I said, but he said, somebody told you that I drove fast. How fast did I drive? He said,
Uh-huh.
we don't know. He said, but the person said he drove. So I asked him, I said, so you want me to tell you that I drove fast or I didn't drive fast? He said, but we are asking, I said, okay, I didn't drive fast until you can bring a person to tell me that I drove fast. You want me to, then after I laughed, I said, you want me to, then I talked on Mr. Cummings' case. So you want me to admit that I drove fast? That is, so I said, oh, nowhere in the world where somebody would say, yes, I did this. You accuse me, present your facts, and let me
Yeah.
defend myself. Okay? But you cannot come to me to confirm. That means that there's no new accusation. So, so that was just a short story to confirm, the case against Mr. Cummings. But we have a video here. We have a video here where a group of people, young people, I mean, patriots, okay, have formed themselves under the name the Democratic National Front. And this group is headed by Mr. Menipake Dumont. And Mr. Menipake Dumont took this group at the ANC headquarters to meet with folks at the ANC.
Right.
And upon their arrival at the ANC headquarters, they met with the scribe, the chief scribe of the Secretary General of the ANC, Mr. Aloysius Tuo. And during their meeting, they expressed their willingness to work along with the ANC in fostering a democracy that we're all yearning for. And then Mr. Aloysius Tuo, on behalf of the ANC, spoke to them. And in his speech, Mr. Aloysius Tuo actually described the character, the personality, the person involved, the real person behind the name Serena Cephas involved in the prosecution of Mr. Alexander Cummings. We will listen to that. And
one can conclude that Alexander Cummings and his team and his leadership are being prosecuted by depraved hands. Hands that are tainted. Hands that are born by a man called Serena Cephas. In any decent country that desires to make progress, Serena Cephas should not even be a lawyer, a practicing lawyer, much less a solicitor general. This is a man who, while practicing as a lawyer, was arrested, handcuffed, and publicly jailed for selling fake gold to his clients. At that time, Councillor Samuel Jacobs was the county attorney. At that time, Councillor Samuel Jacobs was the county attorney. Former Associate Justice Watkins Wright was the Solicitor General. And Serena Cephas reportedly sold fake gold to his clients, thereby defrauding them of hundreds of thousands of dollars. On account of that, Serena Cephas was arrested, he was handcuffed, and sent to the Moravia City Prison. Such a man should never be allowed to practice law anyway. This is the man who continues to prosecute Alexander Cummings. This is the man in whose hands the Georgia administration finds solace to prosecute a decent man. Not only that, for the second time in less than 2 years, Serena Cephas was arrested again, jailed and handcuffed publicly. For writing false stories in the Plain Truth newspapers against President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and turning around underground to go to the president to extort money. This is the Serena Cephas who is prosecuting people. This is the same Serena Cephas who was suspended. As a matter of fact, for most of you, Serena Cephas was a journalist. He used to run a newspaper called the Plain Truth newspaper. Because of ethical transgressions, the Press Union of Liberia suspended Serena Cephas from private journalism in this country. When Serena Cephas served as Deputy Minister of State, Assistant Minister of State for Public Affairs under former President Charles Taylor, he was instrumental in the closing down of several newspapers in this country. He was instrumental in engineering the arrest of many journalists, including the news newspaper, simply because that newspaper, headed by its editor-in-chief, Juan Patois, wrote a story about strange helicopters in Liberia. As a result of that, journalist Patois fled this country in fear for his life. This is the sincere innocence.
Okay, Paul. Um, you just listen to the profile, the
But
profile of the man Cyrenius Semasifo. For me, and for those of my friends who know me, people who in the media that know me, they know that I know Serena Sifor, and Serena Sifor know that I know him, and I can link Serena Sifor with different kind of characteristics. Number one, the guy is mentally unstable. From what I know about him, from what I see, from what I can attest to, Serena Sifor and you will be talking and will be laughing, and just one click of a second, Serena Sifor will get mad for some, probably because of the way you laugh, you'll get mad and you see a lip begin to shake. That's the kind of, it's not stable mentally for me. I'm not a medical doctor, but I'm not a neurologist, but I think Serena Sifor is not mentally stable. I, like I always said, Serena, I did not know Serena Sifor in passing. Somebody pointing said, I knew Serena Sifor for more than 5 6 years. And we work in the same entity. So I know Serena Sifor. And if anybody knows Serena Sifor well, it should also be Eugene Namwe. Because they work together in the Patriot newspaper, producing the Patriot newspaper. So Serena Sifor will be laughing, you will be happy, or be conversing. All of a sudden, 1 minute, something will happen, and the guy will be shaking. Then he'll be looking like that again. So he is unstable. I mean, that's my own analogy. I mean, analysis, rather. That's my own analysis. I mean, not be correct, but he's unstable mentally.
my
So
man,
yeah, and,
if
and,
you
and,
look,
and you listen to, sorry, sir, you listen to the attributes. You listen to what Mr. Aloysius Toole said about him. The guy was publicly handcuffed, arrested and handcuffed, okay, while practicing law because he sold fake gold. I mean, what more is more criminal than, selling or faking somebody in that way? That is more criminal. Yeah, you want to say something?
there's a saying in Liberia. They say H2 is Liberia. That means things that can happen elsewhere in the world, only in Liberia can happen.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, he been indicted for money laundering. Even the sitting judge. In a normal country, the two of them are supposed to be on that case. That to start with. So what sort of justice system we have? And my question is, we have this Liberian Bar Association full of professional lawyers. Everyone going to law school in Liberia. They come to the association, and two bar actors that the world had now reflect on them, they are criminals, and they carry on this other case. Why the bar association not talking? They also been bored. It's just sad. The man, he's been convicted as criminal for money laundering. He's on a list, and he's not supposed to be on a case. He been indicted as criminal, and he investigating somebody on criminal offense. Does that make sense? That's what the case is to is Liberia. Only in Liberia that bad thing happen, and everybody just watch and see. It could have been somewhere. If that won't happen in Ghana or Nigeria, they'll run Serena all the time.
Because we lack manpower, or is it because we lack people to do the job? Because I mean, it baffles me to know that we got even some of my very personal friends from before. Since I left Liberia, most of them have graduated from law school, so we got lawyers floating all over the place. And then you have fraudsters, you have people with tinted criminal records. Okay, and I don't understand. I don't understand how like you said, it is really like this thing that happened, because I don't understand why somebody with criminal record. Because look at America or look at Norway, for God's sake. Every little thing you do, my friend, it will follow you.
Yeah.
Every little thing you do, they will trace you. That's why your name not important yet. You John Brown, you're not important yet. That thing they gave you called a personal number. Okay, sorry if I continue to say like personal. In English we say personal, but we can use the personal. But
My man will
so
understand now.
I'm
If
not.
you start speaking some Pele and Mano to or probably will help in the process.
I was following it not too clear again. So, but what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say is that whatever little thing you do, okay, it will follow you. So, Serena Cephas, who has all these records behind him, being arrested for selling fake gold to his customer, he duped the very Henry Costa that he's in bed with today. He duped Henry Costa of money after he received money from him to do from some representation for him. He stole the money, then he ran away. Okay, then and the list goes on. That kind of man will not find it easy surviving in Norway, let alone to work. Because everywhere you go, it will be, in this country, I don't know if it happens in the UK. I didn't really notice it since I was not a citizen of the UK when I was there going to school. But in Norway, everywhere you go, anything you want to do, what's your name? My name, John Brown. Okay. What is your personal number? That means your social security number. That number you put in that because you can have thousands of John Brown. That number is identical to you. You die with that number.
It's a unique number.
Okay, very good. The moment you call that number Paul, no problem when they pop that in the system, everything will pop up about you. Everything will pop up about you. Then the police story you're telling me about. After the guy check, after he took my license, he check it, he put it together, a small thing like calculator, he put it inside, he check. So I asked him, I said, you see anything on my police, on my driver license? He said, no, we see that you are a good man. So that's why he said, he told me right there. My wife was standing right outside there. He said, we see that you are a good man. But that's why when they got to us that you violated traffic, we came to check and then to see, but you don't have any record on your car. You see? So if I had just had record, any record on my car, it will show. Okay, and all along I've been in this country. One time I got fined for over speeding, and that was a camera. Okay, and that camera thing is on me. You just on your bill, you pay it. But I've never been involved with the police, nothing. You see, so every little thing you do will follow. So a Sarina Sifo will find it difficult surviving here because the moment he goes anywhere, what's your name? My name is Sarina Sifo. What is your personal number? By the time they punch it in, they will see. You see the police in behind the computer doing that here. Then they're talking nicely to you. So, like I said, it's not in Liberia that these things do happen. But I will hope that the system will change. And this is why people do not want to change. That's why Mr. Alexander Cummings came. When you talk about doing it the other way, they say, no, who is this man? Like they usually say, the man, we're not here during the wartime. I don't know. And this is one funny thing I want you to comment on, Paul. During the wartime, people were leaving Liberia to run away, right? That why got most people, even in the diaspora. But people are judging Cummings for not leaving his job at Coca-Cola to go to Liberia during the wartime. I don't know, to go do what, to go fight or what. I don't. This sounds silly to me.
During the war, he was not even working with Coca-Cola at the time. It was later on he had a job with Coca-Cola.
Okay, but
because when he left Liberia, he went for a graduate study when the war broke out. You see, it was when the war broke out when he went for graduate study because he had just come from LBDR Bank where he used to work. So when the war broke out now, people thought they were just going to, for a few months or a year, they were going to finish, and then the thing started dragging. So everybody had to find living. So he started working with a Pittsburgh company at the age of 36 when he became some chief executive. So he was hustling like every one of us that was not in the war, hustling to survive. Yeah, so he was not there.
Besides that, whether he was not hustling, but did they expect him to come to Liberia when everybody else was running away? So I don't understand.
The people who claim today the Benina Ure, they all ran according to him. They were in Freetown, Africa, and other places. In my show,
he admitted that he was in Arcos buying and selling rubber. And if you follow if you check the background of the rubber he was selling, if you follow the background of the rubber he was selling, it might be stolen rubber because when not following get rubber fine Arcos is selling. Right. So where did he get the rubber from?
It just so bad. Anyway, back to the world scene. This guy, he was hustling. Everybody hustling to survive, and he hustled in a good way that took him to a very high level that the brain God gave him, took him there. Like every one of us hustling. So you hustling for survival, going to Liberia to do what? In a heat of gunfire.
But
So
let
me
I
say
think
something here. Let me say something. Fight is in the Ukraine. The guy who in Chelsea, he came from the Ukraine. You think he'll go back to Ukraine while they fighting?
no, that in Liberia they want you to do that.
But I want to say, une in Liberia, that's what the chairman said, it's Liberia. Une in Liberia, people think stupid to come up with something like that. Une Liberia.
Yeah, I don't
Then
understand.
they will tell you, say, oh, but yeah, the man built something. But the guy you elected, he never put anything down. When he will say, oh, I pay my friend's school fee, me and you pay some of the school fees. So that means you qualify to be president of Liberia because that's the argument. I help this person. I pay their tuition fee. But you claim that I had $85 million. But I could not pull some little community center somewhere. But this guy who been hustling, tried to make things ends meet, he said, oh boy, yeah, the man pay something first. But the other guy who served 12 years from 4 years, which is another story that we'll dive into one day because a lot of is a Ben allegedly said that Omer Boyka was now a Liberian. He was born in Sierra Leone. So that's another topic for another day. So, but he haven't built anything too. But then you see this guy, he's the best. So you see how
he got one old house that he lives in around rehab. I mean, by the way, he's neighbor to George. Yeah, and guess what? That house, the road going to the main house, it not even paid. That just the road. That rock long time ago, maybe they pave it now, but that rock they put in a pothole going to the house.
Now.
Yeah, and he was VP for 12 years. And when we talk about being VP for 12 years, and then he came out after election. No, this old man is already sneezed up. The old man comes out. He serves in early government for 12 years as vice president. They took part in the loots equally. They looted. He presided over 68 bogus concessions, 2 of which were at least good. They stood, the rest of them nullified. Some of them canceled. Okay. And then after election, he then told the 12 years old, he didn't see that it's squander. He didn't say anything. He took part in everything. Then, after the election, Jethro Campbell, the almost of that. I supported him in 2017. But because I knew that between he and he was at least best. Okay. Then he comes out in 2017 to tell the Liberian people that, oh, our old car, our park, are not functional. In fact, we squander a lot of opportunities. What did you say? Were you glued to the first presidency? Were you forced that if you say I resign, you die? You stand there, you enjoy everything. Because you know his intention, he was trying to make Ellen Johnson to know the black cat, to look bad. The black sheep, right?
I mean, you can't be talking to Captain Joseph Yuma Barker. You can't be talking to a captain like that, you know.
Oh, when I work at captain.
But you are captain. You are in the PRC government, you are captain.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't know. Okay. In the PRC government, everybody that served as director, ministers, they were all captain, lieutenant, because it was military government. So this guy was captain when they're talking to agriculture ministry. He was captain when he got fired by Doe. Yeah, he was a captain.
Oh, he also got fired by Doe, and he also got fired by Amos Sawyer.
Yeah, and Sawyer didn't want to disgrace him because they're from the same church the church on 10th Street there, where Hal Mulva, the late vice president, used to attend. So Sawyer knew him for many years. So the late Sawyer didn't want to disgrace him, but he was fired for corruption.
Yeah,
and that's why
in the first place, one thing I've always doubted, Joseph Walker will come and boast. I served in government for all those years, no trace of corruption. Which independent group audited this old man? Which group came from out? Not Liberians.
Whoa, you gone far, Linford, you gone far. In his budget, he was getting $2 million a year. His budget for 12 years. Yes, for that 12 years, you're getting $2 million for his budget. So nobody, there's no report, there's no audit record to show what he did with that money for 12 years. $2 million on his own. And equally so, that horse you talk about in rehab, the horse was paid for. The car he drove, it was paid for. That car was gas by the taxpayer, security by the taxpayer for 12 solid years. And this guy turned out now to say, oh, he's on loan, that deception to the highest level. He is so broke. He playing the Liberian. He's a very deceptive person. That's how I see him. And he's very corrupt. If somebody tells you he's not corrupt, yeah, he gave accountability for the $2 million that he was collecting for his office, not his salary, apart from his salary. 2 million, and he was the head of the group of 72nd, the disabled people.
Yeah, the group of 77. I also heard that the group of 77 people, money, something happened somewhere around it.
So the guy, he's one of the biggest crook in Liberia. So if somebody tells you, oh, the man get clean hands, let him tell you what he did with that money. 12 years, $2 million, $2 million, $2 million on his budget for 12 years. What he did with that money? No
And
accountability.
In Liberia, the Liberian people, they are very, we're kind of very strange people. Those of us who are people who are wild, they are one people always look out to be that kind of way. But the easy guy, because what I see, no sorrowful. Everything look at the old man, no sorrowful, like very humble. So people think that he's innocent.
Oh, he's one of the corny people in Liberia. Look, yeah. I gave you an example. We need to show all the corny people. The man, he also a deacon for a church. All the corny guys in Liberia, they all hide behind the Bible. I keep seeing the thing, and most people, when they start quoting the Bible, the wickedness is behind. Let Waterspoon, for example, on Spoon, he will quote the Bible. But this guy who get a bigger platform, he's not in bed with the government. And he said he won't change. None of them won't change. The other Inetos hosts, he used the Bible. Every one of them, they use the Bible and just follow the trace of them. They use the Bible as their means of conjoining the gullible people we have in Liberia. Go to Liberia on Sunday. When a woman enter a church, they will take hair tie and cover her head. So they take that religious part of it so serious in Liberia. So these guys, they use the Bible. They are all con. And this guy is a deacon in a church. And he lying telling you that he got clean. He doesn't have clean hand. That man ate the people money for 12 solid years. And if Allah, he gave account to the money he was collecting. They are all
God is so patient.
Look at my good friend Darius Dillon. Another con as he will use the Bible, he will quote the Bible. Just follow them keenly. When they start quoting the Bible, you know exactly the guys are con. They are all con artists in Liberia. So many of them. And I can list them. You see, they will use the Bible.
I know the Bible a little bit too because I did think
but you should start. People use it for a rare reason. But the con artists, they will use it to their advantage. They will start quoting, and the moment they start quoting, yeah, what? When they don't read a preach, you say,
I was a master
giving story about the Bible. And
I was a very good quick think tank quizzer from Pastor Teenage all the way to Haywood. So,
but also you want to Pastor Teenage too? You want to Pastor Teenage?
Of course, I went to Pastor Teenage 1976 all the way to 1979.
Wow, that's what I came from too.
Wow, maybe after the show,
we'll talk about that.
Yes, some common things. But on a serious note, for those of you joining us, this is the program. The bottom line, we're discussing some of the events that happen in Liberia. Paul, after having dwelled on all of this for a long time, a little bit, I think let's switch a little bit to the bad things that are happening in the country. I mean, from the start of the show, you mentioned about a 3-year-old girl. Myself, I heard about that girl that was allegedly raped. And
she was not allegedly, she was raped. Don't use the word alleged. The bad guys, they bad into the girl. She was raped.
And then just today, I came across a video where a journalist was interviewing. The first video I saw was the alleged perpetrator, one Kwesi. He was being interviewed by a journalist, and that was like 2-3 days ago. And then today, the other video I think it was done yesterday. I came across it also, where they were interviewing, because when they interviewed Kwesi, he said he was innocent, but he accused, in turn accused the uncle of the little girl that was raped, that he's the one who has been tampering with the little girl, and the mother, who is the brother of this uncle, have been trying to cover it up. And so today, the video that I saw, they actually interviewed the brother, one Logan, I think, and he denied it. And they also interviewed his sister, who is the mother of the girl. She said just about exactly what the boy said, that he's innocent. In fact, if anybody can accuse him of anything in their community, that is, he's rude and he's hard-headed, but he hardly stays in the community. He's always out because he's, I think, car loader or something. He's always out because he's like the breadwinner for the family. So almost exactly what he said was what his sister said. But the point here is that these evil things are happening. Can you imagine a 3-year-old baby? Because I don't imagine. I got a 3-year-old son here. So I try to imagine if he was a girl. I mean, 3-year-old can hardly talk. I mean, even a crazy man will have sense enough to know that he can sexually tamper with such a person. 3 years old. I mean, how do you feel? I mean, this is beyond killing somebody, because Paul, if somebody take gun and shoot somebody and kill a person, that's a totally different issue. But to see something that you think is almost impossible, and then you try to do it, this is sickening, man.
But the thing is just how to comprehend when you think about it. It's very difficult. A toddler, that is a baby. And those are people, the unseriousness of this pressing government, that the people then they sort of be going after, then go behind Mr. Cummings for the Boko case. Those are the things that are happening on the ground. Every day, little boys, little babies, every day, they're not doing anything, people getting away with it. And then they want the unseriousness of this government going behind somebody because they see the person as threat to them. But that's those sort of people. I mean, if I were in Liberia now, government, I'll push for them to be hanged. You can't do that with a 3-year-old.
Can you imagine? I don't remember, Paul. I think we just about the same age group. I don't remember during our days, that we, look, what I remember growing up, okay, in Monrovia, some of the things I remember happening was we had the most notorious group we had were the group they call pickpocket. Okay, and this thing about Zogo has been around for a very long time. Okay, you gotta remember down water side, somewhere they used to call Happy Corner. Every time my mother used to send me down water side to go by, she would advise me, don't pass to the place they call Happy Corner. So I was so young, I knew what they call Happy Corner. Okay, down Gurley Street, I think that Gurley Street, any down water side there, somewhere there. Happy Corner. And I remember I passed there several times, and when I grew up, when I was big boy now, I used to pass there to really see what they call Happy Corner. But that was something like a no-go zone. Okay, and I also remember the old other side market, that market kitchen. When you pass through it, you also going to LEC where there are long more inside LEC fan. If you go deep into West Point, going inside those are the narrow areas where the pickpocket were lit, and they were just pickpocket, they would pick your pocket, But I didn't hear much about rape cases, especially to that extent. Okay, and probably where I live, because I live right on the bypass, opposite the police station. That's where I grew up. So it was certain that you will hear criminal activity because we'll catch you. And every time they used to say, roll, roll, roll. And it was very strange road that we used to catch. Because some of the road, they will steal from where Ken Johnson Road. When they're chasing there, then they're afraid that they can go to the Barrage Way or go to Town Way, they will start running to Warming Way. And when they come, they end up down there. When they go, they will see the deep valley going to Jonathan. They can't run again. So we'll catch them. and the police people will get. So now before the police people even come for them, they will get them hospital. See, so we didn't have these kind of cases of rape and
Yeah.
people being thrown around. I don't remember. Probably. I don't know, but it happens some places, but I don't remember.
No, the thing with Liberia is circling right at the moment because I everyday news.
Mm.
It's everyday news, and it's just getting bad. And the sad thing is, the father of the land have not spoken anything about what's happening. That's the sadness in the whole thing.
Hmm.
You see, you get a group of children, you control them, they get bad children among them. What do? You come and call the children and say, no, nonsense, and punish those who start doing bad behavior. Have you heard my good friend ever spoke on this? No. He made music. Welcome, actress. We haven't seen you for a long time.
Yeah, interesting. So he muted. I don't know. Andre, I think you are muted. I tried to unmute you, but you muted yourself, so I cannot unmute you.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah. And I mean, it happens that Andre is in this advocacy for women, and we're talking about this unimaginable thing about the 3-year-old baby. I mean, I hate to
Yeah.
say girl, that's a baby,
There's
3-year-old baby.
another boy that was sodomized, and then they actually cut his tongue. It's
Yeah, that was.
it's just bad.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know.
Yeah,
And
because the thing is, there is no accountability. There's no rule of law in Liberia anymore. Liberia has totally turned into a banana state. Let me correct Linfo. The issue of rape had been in existence from age to age in Liberia. But the problem is that it wasn't that um, rampant as it is
yeah, that's
now.
what I'm
It
saying. It
was
wasn't it
saying
wasn't prevalent.
it
It
was
wasn't like
saying it was
everyday thing.
no, it was it that was the most dangerous one where it was happening silently, where you see the children were being raped by people who they are entrusted to, like people within the home, people that they that are supposed to protect them. But rape is an evil culture that has existed in Liberian society. And it is just coming out now in the open because there is no rule of law. We do not have any precedent because George Weah is not a president that cannot protect his citizens. You have criminal rates at the higher point in Liberia. You have our innocent children up to 3 years. Who does that? Who does that kind of thing? A 3 years old child, for God's sake. And it's not the first time. I think the same incident happened again some part of 2019 when a 2 years old or 3 years old was raped again. No accountability. You take these people to the judiciary, the entire judiciary is messed up. But you have a sitting president will take an opposition political leader to court, and every day you see the case go ahead systematically. But you have a child, an innocent child is being raped, and for the family to get justice, for the perpetrator to be brought under the rule of law where he will be dealt with to the fullest. They will be the same authority that are prosecuting, say they're prosecuting Mr. Cummings because he this, he that, all their false allegation. They will never do that. The people will be running behind them for them to get hold of the perpetrator and bring them to justice. Sometimes whole month or year.
But let
It's
me throw
just
the
sad.
question to you both, Paul and Andre. Okay, let's put it this way. I want to start a question this way. For example, if a rape happens in a case of any government official, somebody big in the government, it is sensible enough to say, well, the government will cover it up, or the government will not want to follow it because it is bringing shame to the government. But in the instance where it happens to ordinary people, where ordinary people do the crime, okay, and the government is mute on it, not following up. What does that say? Because, like I said, if a government official, like in the case of Asido, it's a government official, okay, he beat a woman, and the government does not follow it up, it is sensible enough to conclude, even if it is not right, that oh yeah, because a government official. But where in the case where private citizen goes and does wrong, commits such heinous crime, and the government is mute on it, what benefit does the government get in being silent on the kind of thing?
Well, before Amtress come in, I think she'll have the right answer. I think the government is a hypocritical government. The reason why I'm saying this, when Aseval Tokba wrote this thing in his book, the whole nation went hail wide about this. But look at this baby that
Yes.
is happening to now. Just example of the baby, they can't talk anything about it. Then you look at Minister Doba beating some young girl for some reason, jealousy. He gave her a car, disgrace her publicly. They
A
will not
married
do
man,
anything
a
about it.
married man
You
with
see,
family.
it's just that's the photo. There's a hypocritical government.
Liberal
That's,
culture is just we need a good leader.
And so,
Is that
and
that
to
is
tell me
it?
now,
That is it.
why you think the government will be silent on the kind of thing? I mean, especially when it doesn't involve any government official.
my man, or evil
Because you
doer
see,
is a yes.
I've
Sorry,
always
Andre. Before you cut me,
Hmm.
if I'm a thief, right? It hard for
Hmm.
me to tell somebody say you're a thief because we pointing finger, the finger will be pointing back at you.
okay,
That's what happening. So I'm
of
just
course, of course, because all of them in it. For me, I say Liberian men are abusers. I'm sorry to say, because you people are here. Liberian men are abusers. That is the culture. This is what they see when they are coming up as a young child. All they see is violence. They see their mom, their pa beating their mom. They see their brother beating their girlfriend. They see their uncle beating their wife. So it should start from the early stage of the boys' children to tell them, even the Liberian men that are raping people, children, is because what they have seen from the early stage. That's why they grow up with the thing is okay. It's not okay. Our boys need to be taught that you cannot touch a girl. If a girl say no, it's no. You respect her. Learn to respect. Our mothers need to teach their children, their boys' children, that they should learn to respect a woman, a girl. So if they don't learn it from that infant stage, they will not learn it when they become grown-up men. And answering your question directly, the entire government, they are abusers, they are sexual abusers, they are molesters. Even the president we are is a molester. We have recording. Why we all pretending like we don't know? The chairman of the CDC came up publicly to the Liberian people and told them that every woman that is employed by the government, the president sexually molests these women. And not even once, but they have to warm his bed every day. So tell me, you are in you have a government of child molesters, rapists, women abuser, women beaters. So don't expect much from those that are his subordinate when the head of the nation is like that. Once the head is rotting, the entire body is rotting. That's it. George Weah is a rotting man who sleep with anything in skirt. So all of his so-called boys, lover boys, and womanizer, women abusers. Yeah, that's just how they are. It
Okay, but
shouldn't
all
surprise
in
the
all,
Nigerian people.
the bottom line here is that the government is almost non-existent, is malfunctional, non-functional,
Yes. Yes.
dysfunctional, and
Mm-hmm.
and nothing seems to be working when it comes to law. The only thing that seems to be working in this government is the work they take pay. They take pay at the expense of the people. They
Yeah.
build themselves mansions, buy luxurious cars. Their girlfriends live luxuriously,
Yeah.
and their children in good schools and living
Mm-hmm.
better places. That's the only
Abroad,
thing
their
working for them.
children
But
are
for the
living
ordinary people,
abroad.
nothing is
Yeah.
working. And another thing that we've been watching of late is the high rate of crime. Let's forget about it. Let's forget about the rape side. But every
Yeah.
day, people are dying. Every day, somebody is being robbed. Armed robbers. And the
Mm-hmm.
armed robber thing, it started long time ago. And it began again very rampant after the war, where the remnants of the guys who were fighting war, after they disarmed them, they all,
Yeah.
some of them kept their arms, and since they were not cared for by their warlords, they have been disbanded. The only way they could live is to sneak under the cover of night, take their arms and go and harass people and get things from there. So the harassment has continued, and then it grew into creating Zogos, and
Yeah.
it grew up also into having making, doing drugs. And when they
But
do the drugs,
they brought a lot of Nigerians in the country.
yeah, but
This is the people that are destroying our country.
yeah, and then so the country has become country of lawlessness where people can die every day. And recently, in the Ghana's Chocolate City area, there was a report. I think Friday morning, I think, or sometimes I don't remember the day, but it was no, just this week. Today is Friday, but this week, where a young boy was reportedly killed in the morning hours of the night, and then his motorcycle taken away, and that prompted the residents of the area to call the police, and the police moved in, and they started to, round up people who do drugs, people who are suspected to be the killers, and they actually apprehended a couple of guys, and I have a video here that I will play, and they apprehended a young boy. This boy was not directly linked to the killing, even though the police had one guy in their custody. That part of the video I don't have. They had one guy in their custody who they said was linked to to be one of the suspects for the killing, but the journalist did not interview him. The one they pick up was a guy who had gone to a particular house in the Chocolate City area, in a particular area called the Gulf, where the guy, I think, several houses there where they assemble to do the drugs. Okay. And when the police were running up the people, this boy did not know he had gone there to go, as usual, get his supply, and he was running up. And the journalist asking, so listen to that first. We got to give disclaimer. This is not our work. This is the work of the Spoon TV people. So let's give their credit and listen to what the young boy said.
So you also come here to take in substance?
No.
So why you came here for? So why you came here for?
Come up. Cigarette.
You came to buy cigarettes?
Yeah.
Is this where they sell cigarettes?
And it's a cigarette. Cigarette.
They sell cigarettes in here.
Yeah. I get one away already.
So you smoke cigarette?
Yeah. A cigarette.
What about cigarette? So the cigarette that you had, was it from here that you bought? You bought the cigarette from here?
Yeah. They may not tell me. They may not tell me.
Oh, you say you hadn't
You tell me as long as I come now. I saw. I haven't seen her. Yeah, carry it on. I haven't seen her carry it on.
How are you?
24.
You 24 years old?
Yeah.
Are you in school?
Out of school.
You out of school?
Yeah.
High school graduate?
Yes.
Why you find yourself in a who?
Nothing to me. Just sit down to carry it on at all.
Nothing doing.
Yeah.
You just came in the hood to kill time.
Because nothing.
Is this why you do kill your time?
No, as usual, I don't.
No, why you get involved in smoking?
No.
You don't know. Were you being influenced by friends?
I think. Yeah.
So the friends influence you. So how long you been smoking for?
Yes, yeah. They make me 2 years.
2 years in smoking.
No,
So that means
I'm constant.
you were in high school when you started smoking.
No.
You live with your parents?
Yes.
Where are your parents?
Yeah. On the island.
Which island? Basseterre Island?
No, New Jersey.
New Georgia Island?
Yeah.
Why you have yourself amongst people who take in bad substances? You find pleasure in taking it?
No. No fun pleasure.
Now that you have been apprehended by the police, what next you have on mind? Will you still continue to take in these substances?
No. Once he carry me, because since I've been doing it, they carry me here, but once he carry me, now drink, I'll disease when I have it. Yeah.
So when you are released by the police, meaning you won't find yourself coming?
No, I won't, because I brought so many tissues for me right now.
They brought disgrace to you?
Yeah, so
But do you get involved with criminal activities as well?
No.
You only smoke?
Yeah.
So what's the pleasure you get in smoking?
No pleasures.
No pleasure.
It's just a habit that come out here in that all. No pleasures.
You say your name again?
Ato
Ato who?
Blackie.
Now, you brought the Blackie name to public ridicule. Within yourself, how do you feel?
Not feeling fun.
Your young friends are all looking at you. Will you go back to the same attitude again?
No. I won't.
Okay. Now here we have a young boy, Paul. This boy is 24. And I mean, from all indication, considering the school system in Liberia, the poor quality of education, but this boy is audible enough. He speaks better, more than even some of the people that we find in government. Okay. The boy talks about he's not constant in smoking. And he said the reason why he's around there is because nothing is happening. Can you imagine? Nothing is happening in his life. The boy graduated from high school, I guess, because he said he's out of school. He's not out of college too, I want to believe. But when we used to graduate from high school in the 80s, in people who graduated in the 70s, coming to the 80s and in the 90s, at least they found something to do, even a vacation job. But nothing happening. And totally nothing happening. And there is this saying this famous biblical quote that the idle man is what? The devil's workshop. You see it? So the boy is saying that because nothing is happening, that alone itself tells the people in authority that some of the things we see happening around today is happening because the boys are adult, they got nothing to do. Okay? They got nothing to do. Imagine if this boy had entered college right after graduation from high school. He might have been engaged with something. Okay? But Paul, let me pause and hear what some of you make up from what happening.
Well, it's not a strange situation in Liberia nowadays. We have a huge youthful population in Liberia, and unemployment is at the highest level. That you found people work. Even university students graduate, they wake up in the morning, they have nothing to do. Things are, and they all become beggars. Sometimes some people can stand hardship and some people don't. Whether from a very young age at that young man, some people can do it, so the children get into the habit of fighting their friends and start taking drugs because nothing doing. Imagine you home, your mom have to go sell Duca Flare whole day. She came back home with nothing. She have to ask her neighbor for salt before cooking dry rice. And this young man in his teen, he want to do something to help his mom. Nothing doing, he get frustrated, he start smoking and start drinking. The next thing they call Zocos.
Yeah.
That's the society we live in Liberia. I'll tell you something, because on the ground there, 80-year-old woman would come and beg you for money
Wow.
in Liberia. And when we were small, it was something that we never saw before. It's now you can see that happening. So the place is just, and they have no means of surviving. That's why they all engage in all sort of little things.
Yeah, but let me play the devil's advocate here. Let's say I was in that condition, and then I know that I need to survive. Don't you think I can put myself in a business of like maybe selling cold water or doing something?
Well, it's easier to say that or
Mm-hmm.
selling cold water. The thing with Liberia, because that hand to mouth, that survival is the fittest. If you have father today,
Mm.
you're not going to take that father and say, me invest in water, you're hungry. And each home will have maybe 3, 4, 5 siblings. And the mom is not working. So that father, you take it home, that did a bread for everybody that day.
Yeah, but let's look at this your man in question. The man took money to come buy cigarette, and you say you always come in there to kill time and buy the cigarette. So that money
And
that
how
he's
much
been
for the
used,
cigarette? How much for the cigarette?
no, let's forget about
And
the common.
these and the bad part about it, these are the youth of the
Yes,
nation.
those are the
These
people
are
Exactly.
who
the
they put this
people that
picture
are
that in their
being
head.
spoiled, the future leaders of tomorrow. Just imagine a young boy like that graduated from high school and cannot see his way through, according to him, through university and stuff like that. Tell me, if you have like 100 of that boy, then Liberia is going nowhere.
Yeah,
Then
if you have 100,
you will just have bunch of zogos in that
very
country
good
that
point, country. If you have
no
100 of
security
that boy,
already.
if you have 100 of that boy, Paul, knowing you and myself, we've been used before, okay? How we can influence each other. So having 100 of that boy, the 100 of them will equal 200. And the
Yeah.
200 of them will equal 400 because they'll be influencing each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
But
saying. That
that's
that
the
means the entire youth of
yeah.
Liberia is being destroyed
And
because
you should
we
see
don't
the
have
female
no
side
good.
of that.
Mm-hmm.
The female side, that same generation, you see
Oh,
it. Then
I mean, but the last time I saw a video, a young girl
Mm-hmm.
was doing prostitution. The guy had already used her and refused to pay her money. And somebody was videotaping her. It's a shame and a disgrace
look,
to our
Linford,
country.
I'll tell you answer this.
It's
If you
a
go to
shame
Monrovia now,
and it's sad.
right in Monrovia,
Mm-hmm.
on the airfield, there's a place they call Old Folks.
Oh,
At this
wow.
time, if you drive around Old Folks, 11, 12, 13,
Wow.
that age group, they're all on the street, short traffic. When your car parked, they rush to you.
Hmm.
That's how
But
bad it is. So,
who these men, Liberian men, for God's sake?
but that's why you
You
see
will
earlier I
see
said
an
people can't
11
speak
years old
on.
child, 12 years old
Yeah,
child, standing on the
remember I
street.
said people cannot speak on the issue because you pointing finger, the finger pointing back to you. That's what I was talking about. So that's the young boy side you just saw, but the female side you don't want to see it. You don't
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
see it.
yeah.
Well,
13-year-old
if you
have
just
Liberia is
joining,
baby.
really,
if you just joining us, these are the numbers
we
to
are
call on the
in we
screen.
are
In
in
fact, it's
we
just
are
one
in
number.
serious problem in our country. And you just have one playboy as a president. How can you
Okay,
try
let me
to
let me let
bring
me
these
come in there.
children
Let me
in a
come in there to
position?
defend the president. Let me come in
Why
there
you
to defend
defend?
the
We're not.
president.
No. Don't
No,
even
hold
play
on,
that
hold on,
one
hold on,
devil
hold on.
advocate here.
It's your right to think that the president should do something. It's also my right to think that the president can do something, but he had limit. Listen, I used to be a
Limit.
class. Wait, listen to me. Listen,
Okay.
don't stop me.
Okay. Go ahead. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
I used to be
Before
a classroom
limit.
teacher, right, in Lapasi. I used to teach elementary school. Then I was also teaching in a Paris in the night. That was night school. That was adult. I had captains and majors in my classroom. So I had two different group of people that I dealt with as a teacher. Now, when I would have PTA meeting, the parents would come at my elementary school. okay, in Lakwasi. The parents will come and they will want us to do what daily parents cannot do. How many hours does the child spend at the school? The child comes to the school, 8 o'clock, they go home, 2 o'clock, roughly 6 hours, 7 hours. The child spend the rest of the day with you in the room. They will say, oh, the children can't, why I can't do. So I asked a question in a PTA meeting one time. You, the child spend more time with you. They know you. You know them better from the time you were born. You not brought them here for us to give them the education. Okay? Now, it's not our duty to go and take the child from the classroom and saying that, say, you're supposed to do this, supposed to do that. Even though we can tell them, we can teach them some morality, but you don't expect us to do that. So, all of these children that you see in the street, they got parents. Okay? And trust me, some of the children that I see in the street, they are not from bad homes. I mean, or when I mean bad homes, they are not from poor homes.
Yeah,
Okay? But
yeah.
I personally, when I was going to school, our landlord, a lot of time my parents were still renting, our landlord, the man was captain in the fire service. He had 3 children. No, one of the 2 boys was serious about school. The other one didn't want to go to school. The other one, he and myself, just about the same age group. All he does was he was stealing and doing all kinds of things. You see it? So sometimes it can happen, but the parents too, they have to play that part. I agree. I don't expect me personally. I don't expect the government to come into my house to try to help my children, to try to teach them certain things. Similarly, so if I send them to school, I expect the teacher to teach them their academic lesson and maybe mix with small morality, but the bulk of the work will be left with you. After you are parents, so address that.
No, but you still coming to what I said from the beginning of the show, where I said that Liberian men are abusers, and the reason why they are because they learn it from their infant stage. So everything starts from the beginning of a child, the early stage of a child, there where you can tell them what to do. This is not right. This is right.
You've been accusing Liberian men all the time, but what about the Liberian girls that are doing party?
Well,
What are some of the bad things that Liberian girls
Paul
are
just
doing?
Paul
When
just said that
you
if you go to the play called Old Folk, you
when
will see
they wait,
11-year-old
wait,
girls.
no, no, no. This is my era. When a Liberian man will rape a 3 years old child, you have traumatized. You know what
Yeah, I
happened when
agree.
that
That's very
you
bad.
have
That's very bad.
traumatized.
I agree. That's very
Listen,
bad. But what about
this
the
is
11-year-old girl that is going in the street?
these are some of the that's what lead to these things. These are some of the things. If you do an observation, or you do something like investigation to speak to some of these children,
Mhm.
what is the reason why are they will tell you, some of them will tell you, I ran from home because this person wanted to, my uncle who I live with, or my auntie who I live with, husband wanted to have a affair with me. So they ran from home. And
And then
because
they
they
jump in the
ran
street
from
to
home,
well,
go
the
have the
place
affair
to
with
go
another
I'm
and
girl.
gonna be bucked up to that. Actress B, although you been, I will say something here.
yeah.
It might amaze you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Some of the instances you give, it happen, but not all of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have a situation, this woman that never went to school before in her entire life, she know ABC. She see A, she does not recognize it. She have a
Mm-hmm.
child.
Mm-hmm.
Even the dad in the house, if a dad is there, he also there, but he does not recognize ABC. But
Mm-hmm.
he knows, and she knows that this child have to be educated, right?
Mm-hmm.
That child sent to school. The child come home from school.
Yeah.
They can't teach the child, they know A to B. The child learning on their own. Let's
Mm-hmm.
not talk about parents, teacher meeting. And he said something there. Why the parents can look after. In
Mm-hmm.
most cases in Liberia, no, that child will learn by themselves, by
No, the child will
educating.
learn. The parent not being educated does
Yeah.
not mean that the
Well,
parent
well,
will
let me
not
let me let
instill
me let me
some
get you the reason.
moralities in them.
Let me get you the reason. Now I come into
Mhm,
that. And then because the child is is learning on their own,
mhm,
it's now when it comes to that's the male child. When it comes to the female child,
mhm,
the fact is because the person is not educated enough,
Yeah.
And the situation in the West, we say the person in the ghetto. In America, they say the person live in a project.
Mm-hmm.
That child, if that little girl come here, she pretty, she now become the mother in the house is encouraging her to now
Yeah.
take responsibility to feed them. You see what? So sometimes it's not about the Liberian men, it's about the parents in the home taking that decision, sending the young child out there to feed them. That 13-year-old, 12-year become the breadwinner for that family. In most cases, that
For,
happens. Yes.
for most of the cases in Liberia, I can tell you for sure, are as a result of abuse that got these children to run away and leave out. Looking for in the process of looking for a safe place, they end up getting to the worst place where they will be abused to yeah. Most of these politicians that are in Liberia, if they want to help our children, most especially the children of Liberia, the girls, children, they can open a place as a safe place for these children because most of them experience whole lot of abuse.
So
People that
Andre,
are supposed to protect them
I agree
within
with
the
you
homes.
on
A
that bit.
father, a
Yeah.
father raping his own child, a uncle raping his own niece, a brother raping his own sister. These are the things that are happening in Liberia, and we must look at these situations and say it and try to talk about it in order for it to be eradicated. And not only talking about it and see how we can help to end these things. What
Right.
are the solutions?
So
Okay.
so
Where can we start from?
so
Yeah, Paul, go ahead.
so Andre is one of the great questions here. What are the solutions? In Liberia, they always start from the top and then trickle down.
Mm-hmm.
So we there's some music. I don't know. Yeah, you they follow the leaders, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's always from the top, and then when it trickle down, everybody follow. When
Yeah.
Eddie Johnson came to power, I give example. When she started tying lapa and putting a lapa on her shoulder like this, what happened?
All the women
All the
enjoy.
women copied Ellen. They started doing the
Mm-hmm.
same thing. My brother, we are king of power. He started wearing good Lord genital clothes. Everybody classified as the pro suit.
Purpose.
Everybody wearing
Mm-hmm.
it. So when we are take a stand today, say I'm gonna do this, everybody will fall in line.
He will ever take a stand. How many
Well,
times
that's
the
Hold
man
on.
even
that's
call
Let me
himself
let me let
senior
me let
chief?
me let me just come in. Let me just come in. All these things we're talking, I think the parents also need to play a part. The reason I'm stressing this is that whatever happens, it is not the government official that got your children.
Mm-hmm.
It's your child. So if your
no,
child
no,
goes out and does bad,
Let me rebut you. You see, in Norway where you live,
mm,
and in the UK where I live, and where Andre live,
mhm,
these people got a thing they call parental guardians. If a
right.
new family come out, they get people that will guard them through.
Yeah.
In Liberia, most time when a young girl got pregnant by her peer group or schoolmate, what happened? The parents tend to pull her out at
Yeah.
times. It happened in
Mm-hmm.
most instances. And that young girl now, she a new parent with no guardians. She's going to go
No,
into
no
this world.
experience. Yeah.
So that is one of the problems. So when
The
we have a system
mentality.
where you have the social security, what they call ministry agenda, they should have people to educate those people. Look, you bringing on this family, this is you have. So it always comes down from the top down, and that's what I mean.
Yeah, but I
So
agree.
good
But
leadership.
also, you mentioned Norway here. In Norway, here, the parents, the moment you become parent, you are 100% responsible for what the child does. So
Yeah.
the problem because we are in a welfare state. Because when a woman gets pregnant, in 7 or 8 months time, when the woman is 7 or 8 months, going to 9 months, the woman gets certain amount of money for that child. So that means the government is looking at you. The moment you give birth, 2 days after you come from the hospital, they're sending the people to come check on that child. So like it's cool here. If I walk in the street with my children, now properly dressed, they can stop me. People, other citizens will stop me and say, what you doing is not good. That's why you receive money for the child. So go and dress them properly. If I don't obey, they get a group that will come and check. After that, they will take a child. And I might not probably see them again. So in Africa, the point I'm trying to make is the parents, we should have certain responsibility. I cannot say because the government not doing anything, so I'll let my 11-year-old daughter go out in the house. I'll just say and let her go. No.
But
Okay?
I ask a question. In most cases, young people get pregnant from their peers group and they been kicked out of the house. I mean, when I was small, my mom used to tell me, say, if you're pregnant, anybody child, you go do who won't work free pool. So they put a fear in you. If that happen, your school been finished.
Yeah.
So in that case, what do you do? And she been kicked out of the house. And this is somebody who don't even
I agree. That is not proper. But you know what? You know what? I think Saint Andre is the main advocate here. We'll keep the topic. We'll open one particular show for him one day, and we'll start with our time is fast now. Say again one more video to play. And for you, our listeners, what we're talking here is that Liberia has become criminalized. It's a lot of crimes all over the place. I'll play the last clip of video from that same Chocolate City Gulf area in Ghana's-Ville, and you will hear a resident or lady that had lived in that area for a complete 10 years. She'll give you a count of what is happening there now compared to 10 years ago when she first moved there. So the reason we're stressing this thing is that, yes, it is easy to also blame the authority, but at the same time, parents will have to play our own part. So let's listen to this, madam. I wouldn't call her name because I try to keep her anonymous.
I lived there for 10 years. My toy used to sleep open, but now and then we're living in fear. Because our children spoil every day. Even students will be in a uniform, they do things all of the way. Every night we can hear one sound.
So the White House behind there is being identified as one of the who. So who owns that house?
The owner of the house is dead. But there's a caretaker in this house. A quasi problem in this identical community.
Is he a Liberian?
Yes, a young boy.
So what are you community dwellers doing to see that this house is not being used for drug users?
For 1 people in the community, they gather once upon a time to address the man, but he can't listen to people. So as of me, one time, even this man, Matthew Johnson, I asked him, Matthew Johnson, the thing that going on in our community, you are seeing it? He said, we're seeing it. What time will come, we'll get rid of the man. That's what he said. Even soon they be in uniform in training school, children, they're smoking drugs. We living in fear in this identical community. We must admit, most of our boys, they're afraid to talk. But we the community dwellers, if we were going to group ourselves and do much space, they were going to leave this place. But they're living in fear that when they do it, they will harm them, they will do the other one to them.
So you don't move freely in the evening?
No way. You walking house only will check your phone. Checking motorbike. Right, yes, sir. I'm okay, one boy for his motorbike. Because every day they take it in drugs. Because someone here said in drugs. They never used to be there in our community. Every night we can hear concert for me. I listen to Kapawa show. I always calling on Kapawa show. I don't sleep. Every time we listen to concert in there, they never used to be there.
Okay. Oh, sorry for that. Sorry for that, folks. So sorry for that. But you listen to this lady. How she's even stressing that, the children, they're in uniform.
Yes,
children. Can you imagine? So if you are a parent, or if I'm a parent and I know my son is going to school, and I know how I address him, he went to school, he's supposed to come home certain time, and he doesn't come. Don't you think I will be concerned as a parent to find him?
Look, the thing is sad. Anyway, I gave
It's
you a
sad,
story.
man.
I
It's
gave you a
sad.
story, yeah.
Mm.
Right in Congo town, what I stop sometime when I go home, and this lady got 5 children. She go to hustle in the evening, and the 5 children are small children going to school. The oldest daughter, I think about 11 or 12, looking after, because she's the older, looking after the rest of them. The mom gone hustle. There's no, because different children by different price guys. The mom go to hustle, she come home and go to bed. She doesn't know how the 13-year-old, the 12-year-old will dress and go to school. Whether she took bath or not, that mom is sleeping. You see? So it's all around the country. Similar situation. It's just a hard thing. It's heartbreaking to
What can
children
we
go to
do?
school. You see
What
them in
can
uniform
we
in the morning, they
do?
get cold in their eye. They didn't even brush their teeth. The parents from hustling through all, they're sleeping.
So who is the so-called head of DEA that need to do their job and save our children, those young children who are in school that are supposed to learn?
All right. Yeah, this is where it comes to. And I will go back when we were small. Some of us came from a single parent, so I can speak from that fact. My mom didn't know anything but her key was education.
Yeah.
So with 5, my Oma can read and read, but in the morning she makes sure you go to school, you come back home.
Yeah.
She doesn't have the idea, but she'll find an older person in the community, say, please teach my child. Yeah, so
or sometimes they can have maybe one of the, for me, my community where I grew up in, we have like some of the smartest in the community, or big brother we just call something like a study class where all the children, they put big blackboard, help you do your assignment. Everybody, when you're finished doing everything, you go up your play.
So you have this situation where people will help. But the old man was keen to wake us up by 4 or 5 in the morning to start getting ready for school. Now, the situation in Liberia back then, it was okay. You could get, like, I think Leaford can testify to this, what I'm going to say. My mom used to tell us that they used to buy a cup of rice for 10 cents. So you can get things 5 cents that were plenty of money, that were bus fare.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, so
there were
condition was not, but this condition they put face with now, that everybody become beggars. So the legal, the few handful of people that get money, they now become some sort of big people for nothing, big people in the community. So when I have a little job in my community making $200, that money come in the month time, I get about 10 person around me begging. And Andrea, you said something about the Liberian men. This is where they take advantage over the situation, that instead of them helping, they look at the most pretty one among them.
Molest the young children.
So when I come back
to them,
it come back to leadership. Whereby if we have leadership, say no, this is wrong. The fact is that I went to school free in Liberia, but the kids today not going to school free. Why? You see? So all of the problems,
even a scholarship, when they want to give it to these young girls, they have to use them. Sodomize, and they are sodomizing the men as well as the girls.
That's a serious problem we have.
Liberia is in a serious abuse state.
Like I said before, sometime on the show, the case of Liberia, or the problems with Liberia, is like old car. When you own old car, my friend, you're in trouble. The car engine gave you problem today, you carry it to a mechanic, they fix it, you pay. By the time you sit inside, the tire burst.
That JBO car.
Then we move again the exhaust. So Liberia got a series of problems. You talk about the economy is bad.
Before they say we disrespected,
they're cramps. And so our time is fast spent, but just before we got to go to Liberia. We got to join our correspondent, Angeline Noah for the news. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for the news. Wait.
Angelic Noah presenting. The government of Liberia is engaging in frantic diplomatic efforts to ensure the safety and the well-being of all Liberians in Ukraine, which includes 200 students undergoing their academic studies. Minister of Finance and Developmental Planning is calling on the Liberian public to exercise restraint as the Weah-led government is taking up what he termed as tough choices to deal with the issue of electricity in the country. In another development, the Minister of Finance and Developmental Planning has disclosed that the government is spending $1.5 million United States dollars on the celebration of the country's bicentennial. The Board of Commissioners of the National Elections Commission on Wednesday, March 2nd, 2022, issued its interlocutory ruling, which denied the petition of summary proceedings brought against Annie Broderick and Moana Vale, and has directed the two hearing officers to resume jurisdiction and proceed in keeping with the law. The Senate Committee on Youth and Sports has mandated the Minister of Youth and Sports, Zilga Wilson, to submit the list of items allegedly looted from the youth center in Bentor, Anserado County. The Board of Commissioners of the National Elections Commission of Liberia has passed a motion to dismiss summary proceedings in the case filed by Liberty Party's embattled political leader, Senator Yumli Kanga Lawrence, and others against the Liberty Party Chairman Musa Hassan Beliti and others for the charges of altering the Liberty Party constitution. Liberia's Vice President Joy Howard Taylor is in Belize City to seek economic cooperation with the Belizean government, exploring opportunities to enhance Liberia's tourism industry. The Liberia National Police has arrested 2 persons who allegedly killed a motorcyclist after robbing him of his motorbike at Chocolate City Junction in Gardnersville. A group of citizens from southeastern Liberia, under the banner White Ballot Movement, has publicly declared that it will rally support for the re-election of President George Weah in the upcoming 2023 general and presidential elections to ensure his victory. The National Director of SOS Children's Village in Liberia, Mr. Augustine Aliyu, says child labor is one of the socio-economic challenges that continue to impact the well-being of children in Liberia, adding that despite efforts to tackle the situation, a number of Liberian children continue to be victims of child labor. Several public health centers in Niba County, including the Jackson Fire Dome Memorial Hospital, are facing a major shortage of drugs to treat patients. ArcelorMittal Liberia has announced Joe Corning as the new chief executive officer of the company. The president of Liberia has officially opened Liberia's first dialysis center, which is named in honor of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. And a group under the banner Aggrieved Partisans of the National Patriotic Party is seeking the attention of National Elections Commission into their demand for a change of leadership through a national convention. Those were the latest updates from our news segment. My name is Angelic Noah. Good evening.
Thank you, Angeline, there from Liberia. You just listened to the news segment from Liberia with our correspondent, Angeline Noah, on Portland. And in the news, there were 2 things that, several things, but there were only 2 things that I look at. The child labor thing and the LEC thing. Samuel Tue, finance minister, saying that government is working hard to prioritize electricity at this time when each of them, daily government officials, have generators. In fact, the small thing that the small power that LEC puts out is beating in their home. I understand that there was this ECOWAS meeting today or something, and there was no electricity in
The
your room.
light went off.
Yeah,
I
can you
saw
imagine?
that.
And that's not the only thing. There was another event last week where they had this American, I think, judge, former former judicial official were attending some hearing, and then there was no electricity again. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Well, Paul, your final note and answer your final note because our time is fast spent. We are 1 minute over time. So in 30 seconds each, can you give your final take and then we'll be calling it a night.
So the ladies first, right?
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah, in most cases, the lady will say the men will go forward.
Um, yeah, my final word today will be like this is something we always see some of us because we are survivor of rape and abuse in Liberia.
Mhm.
And we decide to use our, sad experience to stand up and say enough is enough. It is time for us to fight for justice. And some people think that coming out and breaking the silence and talking about these situations is as a result we want money or this looking at the person power in society. No, when I came out in 2019 to break the silence, it's because I want to stand as an example to other Liberian women and say, no, rape is a crime, and whoever, wherever they are, whether you are powerful or most influential in the society, you must be held accountable and you must be brought to justice. And this is why I'm still here and fighting. And like I told you the other day, Linford, I think if people been following my post, they saw when I posted that because I gave birth to my first child here in Belgium, and there are some things I say on Facebook, and there are some things I do not talk because it's not the right time to talk about it. But I am still fighting because there should be a precedent that should be set on a beast and a rapist like Onyama, Nelson Onyama. I gave birth to my child here in Belgium, and the investigation about the child DNA not matching with me, the mother who gave birth to her, has been a serious issue. And people just feel that some stupid people and naive people, because our country is so gullible that, they use the gullibility of our people to prey on them. And one thing led to another. I had to request for my medical file, and what I saw that the gynecology wrote and said that the child that I gave birth to, the child that I have now, is not the child that I gave birth to. So this rape issue people do not know, but is deep and a lot of things involved. And because people think they have power, I know there are a lot of girls who have even experienced worse than mine, but I'm standing up as an example to show to Liberian girls that they should be resilient and learn to fight for their rights. This evil culture of rape must be eradicated from Liberia. And if we must eradicate it, those that are victim of this evil culture must stand up and fight against it, no matter who is involved. Fight them till the last. And this is where I stand. I continue to fight. Nelson Onyama, you think you have money that you can go to the extent to use people to exchange your child because you don't want to be brought to justice. You have made a terrible mistake. And no matter who is involved or wherever, they will be brought to justice. And I thank God that I am educated enough. Liberia does not have good education system, but some of us took advantage of it and learned to our best, the little that we can learn from, to make an impact, to be able to stand up and fight for yourself. That's why I say knowledge is power. Without knowledge, you can do nothing. People will just boof you from left to right. But when you have your own knowledge, you are rich. You don't need to have billions. You don't need to have everything in the world, but you need to have it up there. That's just it. And we continue the fight for justice in Liberia. This is why we come on every day to tell the Liberian people, for Liberia to get better, we need to talk about some of these problems. And we also need to make a right decision to elect the right president. That is the beginning. We must elect the right president. If we continue to elect corrupt people, recycling politicians, the situation that we're experiencing now is going to be worse. The UP that say they want to be president again is going to be worse than George Weah government. Trust me, people. So you don't make that mistake.
Okay, that was a strong one. Paul.
Well, firstly, I would like to say it's a sad situation in my beloved country that the news that coming from there about these rape cases is just sickening. And the level of which is gone. It's kind of rampant now that people are not doing anything about it. And it's not a good news coming out of that country.
Yeah.
So I just think if my good friend can put some sort of strong statement down and take some serious action like what Ellen did on
Who's your good friend, Paul? Who is your good friend?
Mr. President George Weah,
Oh
my good
wow.
friend.
That
Yeah.
man do not have a friend. Oh. That man is Paul no friend.
Well, he my friend until death do us. So if he can come up with something, it's about time that they take some serious stand on this. It's not a good news coming from Liberia. Every day, no, it's sickening. And then to the so-called legislatures, what are they there for? It doesn't make sense. They're there for some reason. Because if you into that seat, you dare to advocate for people in your community. Something bad is that happening, they all muted. What's happening to Liberia? I don't know. So it's sad. And now I just pray that they do something. They have to set example on one person.
Yeah.
What they have to, if they can do or how they call it, capital punishment, show example, like in the old days, they would take you to BTC and hang you. They
Execute.
need to do something like that to deter people from doing this. And that's what I was saying. And they need to set example. Because if you set example like that, people will be afraid. But people just talking, nothing happening, it will still continue.
Yeah.
You
No
see,
accountability.
they have to do something. And most time it comes from family members. Then the parents say, oh, don't bring disgrace to our family. They bury it. There must be some sort of strong example set on one person. To be
Well,
honest, the thing have to stop.
well,
I
it's
mean,
easier said than done. We talk
well,
about settings. Yeah. You want to
yeah,
conclude?
so what I want to conclude, that's where leadership comes in.
Yeah.
That's why you make it possible that no, on a mass stewardship, this not going to happen again. It will happen, but it have to be minimized. You see, and we talk about earlier how people should vote. These are the kind of things that they should see and then vote the right people in. The country can be going the other way around, and then
Bad
you
for
go to the
worse.
people, then every day you crying, you begging, 80-year-old woman begging me for money on Broad Street. What sort of Liberia is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we need somebody, they need to do something, and we hope that people listen. So I just pause here and just pray. Look, it was good show tonight, and I would say thanks to those who tune in to listen to us. There are more to come, and we're looking forward to bringing some big guests at some point next week or week after. So yeah, then stay tuned. And I'll say thanks to you guys. It was a great conversation.
Okay, Paul and Antrick. I mean, it was splendid. The discussions were great, and the ideas put forward was great. And I think the listening ears will listen. And trust me, right after the show, people will go onto the three websites and follow the show on the YouTube and the two Facebooks. So it's been a great show, like you said. And all I can encourage our people in Africa, in Liberia, to do is not to give up. The fight is on. You know, it's easy to break down than to build. So to build this new system that everybody envisage is going to take a lot of pain. It's going to take a lot of time, a lot of effort. But don't fall by the wayside, because um, when I was graduating from high school, I still remember my class motto, that was perseverance. You must persevere to the end. Stand tall, stand strong. Continue to push until you can push no more. And so, on this note, we like to
Yeah,
say thanks for being there, Antrick and Paul. And also, we encourage our viewers to be back here on Tuesday evening, 7 o'clock Liberian time, 8 o'clock Central European time. And we'll
Yeah.
be coming with fresh new information on the bottom line.